Welcome to the short haircut series. This is haircut S1. This technique uses graduation and line. This is S1, a pure graduated haircut with a modern edge. The graduation starts in the back, working with pivoting diagonal sections. My first section starts here and moves up as it pivots around until I achieve a horizontal section just above the occipital bone. We are working on a heavy graduated shape that will, at the end, sit square. This haircut can also be done more triangular and can also be done taking the graduation higher. Choose the length of your graduation dependent on your end result. Here for Ash, I'm choosing to take a very, very short graduated shape and keep a heavy, strong weight line. Working palm to palm with the first angle, comb the hair until it's smooth. In this case, I'm going to push my knuckle against the skin. This is going to achieve a much stronger angle. When working with graduation, work palm to palm. Bringing the hair down to the previous section, cut in your chosen angle. Body position is always very important, but for graduation, it's super important. Make sure you have enough space between yourself and the client to be able to make your angles correct. If you stand too close to the client, your angles will naturally change. My sectioning pattern will start to pivot and slowly become more and more and more horizontal. Again, over-directing the hair down, choosing what you would like the graduation to look like. Very simply put, the higher you lift your hands, the higher the graduation will be. The lower you bring your hands, the heavier and stronger the graduation will be. If I bring my hands down, I'm going to achieve a stronger, heavier weight line. If I lift my hands up, I'm going to build my graduation higher up on the head. I tend to find that finer hair looks good with a bit more weight in there. Thicker, denser hair tends to look better when you elevate more. It usually needs more of a removal of weight. And then the final thing I like to think about when graduating is the profile and where the angle is going to sit on the face. Slowly but surely, my hands are moving and mirroring my section angle until they become horizontal. Still bringing the hair down to the previous section, and the area underneath the occipital bone is really my base for the rest of the haircut. Once I've put my base in, which is this first panel, the second panel will be brought down to it. The outline will be done afterwards. I'm really concentrating on just putting in the internal graduated shape. When working with graduation, again, I want to work palm to palm. On this side, because I'm right-handed, this is my difficult side. It's only difficult because the shoulder is in the way. First thing I do is stretch the neck across. This allows me to get my comb into the section. I work from the bottom of the section and I cut a small area in the nape. Drop that hair out. Now you can get your comb in and connect from here to here. On this side, I must remember to lift my elbow and follow my sections with my fingers. Also on this side, I'm choosing to lower my chair. This is going to help me to lift my elbow at the correct position. Working through into the sides now, taking horizontal sections and bringing the hair down to sit on the base. This is now my base, and all sections will come down and sit to that line. As I work through into the sides, I will also encounter the ear. So we will be mentioning and talking about tapping around the ear and how to work through there. So for me, I always sit the hair below the occipital bone, or I go for something higher up. Closing my scissors and tapping is really imperative over the ear area, as I don't want to achieve a hole. Over the ear, comb the hair down. Really tap or push with a closed scissor and cut. Walk around the head while using this technique. Change your tension using the large end of the comb for a looser feeling and hold the hair in a looser manner. Do not pull it as tight. Always working with a looser tension around the crown, a looser tension around the ear. Tap the ear area every time, both on top of the ear, but also behind the ear as well. Sometimes that's where the hole starts. Comb the hair down in front of the ear and don't worry so much about the tension as there's no obstruction there. When you comb the hair down at the end of your haircut, you will see some weight. You should leave that until after the blow dry. I'm finished on this side, moving through and taking my sections in exactly the same manner. The only thing you need to worry about is the crown movements and springs. Sometimes a crown is different on each side, so you may have to change your tension. You may have to make it tighter on one side and looser on another side, but be mindful of that as you're cutting the hair. Also, when I'm choosing to cut graduation like this that's very heavy, I prefer to keep the head upright. That way I can see my shape developing. Don't force the hair to sit somewhere it doesn't want to. I'm really trying to allow the hair to fall exactly where it wants to be and where it lives. Rather than combing the hair around, I'm trying to let it just fall and cut it where it wants to be, in its natural position. Continue with horizontal sections until you reach the center parting. Bring everything down and cut to the same line. I've chosen to leave these longer areas around the crown, as Ash has a very jumpy hairline. So I prefer to connect these in after the blow dry, once I've seen how much it's going to spring up. Working into the outline now. It's really about suitability. I'm choosing to work with a scissor over comb technique. I feel that Ash has a really beautiful hairline, so I want to take advantage of that. You could also work and draw in a really clean, strong outline. You could also leave it softer and more grown out. Really, it's about suitability for your client and what you want to see for the end result. I'm choosing scissor over comb. This means I need to keep my scissors and comb moving through the hair. If you stop and cut, you will create lines or marks within the hair. So moving the scissors and comb together to create a smooth rhythm. I also want to bring the comb out, almost like a C shape when I'm cutting. This is going to allow me to stop at the graduation and not go over the top of the head and cut too much hair off. I'm doing the scissor over comb really in the bottom hairline only. So concentrating on bringing my comb out before the occipital bone. You can use a trimmer for this as well. I will be using my scissor against the skin, but really whatever is comfortable for you. Also working into the side area, I'm now going to clean the hair up freehand. What that means is combing the hair down in its natural position, tap the hair, see where it wants to live and where it wants to sit, and very simply use the tips of your scissors to clean up. Remember, you left the weight over the ear on purpose so that you didn't get a hole. So now is the time to go back and check out your line and decide if you need to clean up in that area or not. And then finally, I will be working with graduation in the back, connecting in that crown that I chose to leave out. I'm not even cutting fully to the guideline. It's really dusting the hair and checking in anything that's hanging over the top of the line. Lift the hair up and dust the very ends. This is not going to change the line of the haircut, merely make sure that everything around the crown checks in. The fringe area needs to be worked quite deep on this haircut. So it's a large triangle. I've decided to go underneath the recession on Ash's hair. So working from the recession to the recession, if you draw your fingers up, you will find a natural point at the top round of the head. This will be your sectioning for your fringe. You can work this technique through your fingers. You could also work freehand. You could also work through your comb. It really depends on what kind of effect you want to achieve. You could also point into it, make it very jagged and loose. I've chosen to work through my comb, so I'm simply going to close my scissor, allow the hair to fall into the comb, tap, and then lift out from the head very slightly. The reason for that is when the hair falls down, it will have a very slight bit of graduation, which I like because it makes the hair bevel in slightly. I like to also, on a short fringe like this, work from the sides first, get the balance in, and then work the middle. A square fringe is very, very flattering on a woman's face because it's uplifting. I personally don't like a fringe to come down on this kind of haircut, as I feel it makes the face come down. And then really just see how far you can take it and how the hair is reacting to how short you can go. This is my finished S1 look, pure graduation with a strong fringe.